Live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Ohio Senate candidates are campaigning in Athens as the election nears. Good evening, I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. Former Ohio Governor Ted Strickland is in Athens tonight to speak at the Athens Democrats' annual fall dinner. Our reporter Abby Grisey is live at the American Legion Hall on West Union Street. Abby, I know the dinner is about to start. What's it like down there?
Hi, Mackenzie. I'm here at the American Legion. Like you said, dinner is about to be served, and then probably around 7:30, after a few speakers, Governor Strickland will give the keynote address. We actually had the chance to sit down and chat with Jonathan Heasley. He is the chairman of the Athens Democrats, so let's hear from him really quick.
The fact of the matter is, you can run up a big margin in Athens County, and if you get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4,000 additional votes in Athens County, that can make a big difference on election day. And so it's really important for Democratic candidates to recognize that and be in Athens County, where we vote and we're really active, and we've sent a lot of Democratic candidates to victory that would not have been victorious if it weren't for Athens County.
And I'm here with Chris Knightley. She is on City Council here in Athens. So, Chris, you're at the dinner here tonight. Why is it important for Strickland to be here in Athens?
Democrats in Athens County is working really hard. And so it's kind of an energetic situation that helps us energize for the last few weeks before the election day. And getting out the elections is really important. Ted Strickland certainly stayed Ohio well, especially since it's Athens County, it's County previously. And we think it's wonderful to have him elected and he's here to stay.
And why is Athens as a county just important to the election?
Well, Athens County happens to be a strongly Democrat. First turnout for Democrats is extremely strong in Athens County, so we're hopeful it will be on election day too.
All right, well, thank you, Chris, for joining me. And Mackenzie, let's head back to you in the studio.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Strickland's opponent also visited Athens this week. Senator Rob Portman stopped at his campaign office on Court Street during his RV tour through Ohio on Tuesday. Portman delivered a short speech at the office located at 80 North Court Street. The office is a phone bank operation headquarters run by about a dozen college-aged volunteers. During his speech, Portman said the Athens office has made 104,000 voter contacts during the campaign. After the speech, he posed for photos with volunteers and let them sign his campaign RV. Candidates running for the Ohio House of Representatives' 94th District seat will face off again following last night's debate. Democratic candidate Sarah Grace and Republican Jay Edwards showed significant differences in their answers. Questions from the media panel and audience were thrown at the candidates on wages, income tax credit, and fracking. The next debate will be held on Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Nelsonville Public Library. An additional staff person is being added to the Athens Court-appointed Special Advocates Program thanks to a grant from the Victims of Crime Act grant program. The new staff member will be able to take part in finance training and purchase equipment. The program received over $200,000 to support a project that will expand advocacy services in the county. The new position will be based on the Athens local office. 23 people were arrested and arraigned on drug-related charges on Tuesday. Law enforcement officers from Athens, Hocking, Fairfield, and Vinton counties banded together to conduct the sweep. The warrants were issued through Hocking County after investigations by the Hocking County Major Crimes Unit. 6 people from Athens County were detained. Detectives found an undisclosed amount of heroin, methamphetamine, and other narcotics during the sweep. A Caldwell man has been found guilty of aggravated murder and now faces a possible life in prison without parole. Lewis Vance was convicted in Jackson County Common Pleas Court of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assaults, and tampering with evidence. Vance is accused in the death of 48-year-old Patrick Morgan of Albany. Vance could be sentenced to life in prison without parole or lesser sentences. He is scheduled to be sentenced on December 5th. A man accused of raping a 9-year-old girl has pleaded innocent to 2 felony charges. Terry Smathers of Gloucester is being held in Southeastern Ohio Regional Jail under $500,000 bond. Smathers appeared in Athens County Common Pleas Court yesterday to be arraigned on 2 first-degree felony charges of rape and pleaded innocent. A pretrial is scheduled in the case for November 22nd, and a jury trial is slated for January 10th. Athens is getting an electronic car chargers next year, and City Council is now deciding where to put them. The locations were discussed during the City Council meeting on Monday. 2 of them will likely be in the parking garage for public use, and the other 2 chargers will be at the Athens Police Department and the Code Enforcement Office. These 2 locations will be for city cars only. Mayor Steve Patterson is considering purchasing electronic vehicles for both of the departments.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. We had a cloudy day across the region, but no rain here in Athens. Though we didn't have any rain, we had a lot of wind today. Gusts over 25 miles per hour today across the region. And those winds are going to die down a little bit as we are seeing that cold front that was associated with those moving through the region finally. Right now, though, temperatures are still mild, sitting at 56 degrees here in Athens, 52 up in the capital, and a little bit warmer down south at 64 in Ironton. As we go overnight, though, those temperatures are going to start to drop down quite a bit at 44 degrees by midnight and 40 degrees by 4 a.m. And we'll hit a low of 39 tonight in Athens. 40 degrees is going to be your low in Columbus, and 36 is going to be your low in New Martinsville at our coldest point. With those cooling temps, though, clouds are going to start to move out of the region as we go overnight as well, giving us a sunny day tomorrow with pretty mild temperatures. Over to you, Mackenzie.
All right, thanks, Ananda. Well, I'm glad to see it's finally starting to feel like fall weather. A federal agency is helping fund low-income families in West Virginia. $26 million has been released to help with energy bills and energy efficiency upgrades. The Administration for Children and Families and their Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program has provided the money. The Community Service Director, Jeannie Chafin, said the money will help families keep their homes at a safe temperature. To apply for energy assistance, contact your local assistance program or call 866-674-6327. 14 tons of prescription drugs are now off the streets after Ohioans disposed of them on Saturday. The annual DEA initiative for National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day collected unneeded, unwanted, and expired prescriptions. They target unused prescription drugs because they can be accidentally ingested, stolen, or abused. This year collected amount is up from last year's 13.5 tons. Collection sites can be found across the state for further drop-offs. Head to fda.gov for drop-off sites near you. And coming up next on Newswatch, we're looking at the presidential election from 11 days out. That story and more coming up next.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
New polls out in some key battleground states show that this presidential race is tightening. Voters in Nevada and Florida are making this a closer race than some experts predicted, and now both sides are gearing up for a frantic finish over the final 12 days. Diane Gallagher has the report on the race from the White House.
With less than 2 weeks of campaigning left, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are showing no signs of slowing.
Listening to Donald Trump's campaign, I truly doubt that he has ever read the Constitution.
Honestly, she has less energy than Jeb Bush.
Trump didn't just have harsh words for Clinton. Before heading to rallies Wednesday, Trump held an opening ceremony at his newest luxury hotel in D.C. and chided a CNN reporter for questioning if he was using the stop for free publicity.
For you to ask me that question is actually very insulting, because Hillary Clinton does one stop and then she goes home and sleeps. And yet you'll ask me that question. I think it's a very rude question.
Former Speaker of the House and Donald Trump supporter Newt Gingrich called the hotel symbolic of what a Trump presidency would be.
A message that says you could actually come in under budget and ahead of schedule in this city is a really radical message.
Clinton, meanwhile, used Trump's moment to boost her own agenda, urging voters at a Florida rally not to fall for the hype.
If you have friends who are thinking of voting for Trump, I want you to tell them that he relied on undocumented workers to make his project cheaper.
And while she may be up in the polls, Clinton encouraged her supporters to make sure they support her when it counts.
Donald Trump says he can still win, and he's right. That's why it's so important everyone gets out and votes.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Thanks, Diane. Now on to some bad news for Apple. For the first time since 2001, the tech giant's annual sales have gone down. But Apple is being optimistic and has a big event this week that could change things around. Mary Maloney explains in today's Consumer Watch.
Apple's 15-year hot streak has come to an abrupt halt. For the 2016 fiscal year, its annual sales fell about 8%, resulting in an $18 billion decline from last year. The company hasn't reported an annual sales loss since 2001, when it introduced the iPod. You can partially blame the new iPhone 7. The iPhone is Apple's largest source of revenue, and throughout the year, sales have consistently fallen. Analysts say people aren't as quick to upgrade to the iPhone 7, especially since it's a dead ringer for the previous two models. One big difference? No headphone jack, which many don't like. But there could be some hope on the horizon for Apple. The holidays are just around the corner, and Apple products are popular gifts. Also, one direct competitor, Samsung's Galaxy Note 7, is going through a massive recall. Analysts will be watching to see if the sales slip is merely a blip on the radar or the start of the tech giant's decline. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
This fiscal year, Apple made $216 billion. Today, Apple unveiled updates to its Mac lineup, including a new Apple TV app, which could help next year's sales numbers. On Wall Street today, while Apple fell, Alphabet Inc. rose, surprising their estimated earnings. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. Is too much screen time harmful to children? The negative effects of children being glued to their devices. We've got those details coming up.
And temperatures have been up and down lately. I'll let you know how those are going to keep changing for the next week, plus our next chance for rain in the forecast. All that, plus your extended forecast, coming up on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. We've had a windy day in Athens. Winds are finally starting to die down a little bit. Right now our winds are out of the west at 15 miles per hour and we're sitting at 56 degrees right now, still with those cloudy skies across the area. Across the region, temperatures all in the 50s and 60s, 52 up in Columbus, 53 in Newark, and 56 down in Ripley. Looking at our almanac for today, we were right around normal for our high. That says 36, but that average temperatures is actually 63. We're not quite that cold yet. For our low, we were a little bit high today, but we have a cold front moving through the region, which will drop that low overnight closer to normal. Looking at our precipcast, here is that cold front which I was talking about. It is right over our region right now, and we see rain associated with that, but that hasn't been falling right now. Conditions are pretty dry. We do still have a slight chance to see that over the next few hours, but after that passes through tomorrow, we'll have high pressure dominating the region, giving us some nice sunny skies for tomorrow and for the beginning of your weekend. Overnight tonight, again, things are going to cool down quite a bit with that front moving through. Our low is going to be 39 degrees, so pretty chilly. The wind will continue to decrease overnight, though, so at least you're not going to have to worry about any wind chill as we go through the nighttime hours. Across the region, temperatures all in the 30s and 40s tonight. 40 degrees, your low in Columbus, 38 over in Marietta, and a little bit warmer down south at 42 for your low in Ironton. Once again, we're going to see those clouds decreasing as we go overnight, but for your bus stop, we will still see a few clouds in the region. It's going to be a very chilly morning, still about 39 degrees, so make sure you really bundle those kids up as you send them on their way to school. As we go through the day, though, things are going to heat up to 52 degrees by noon, and then by 4 p.m., those clouds will be out of the region. We're going to have a nice sunny afternoon at 59 degrees. The high for tomorrow is going to be about 60, so we'll hit that probably between 4 p.m. and dinner time. Be pretty seasonable, a nice fall day for the region. 59 tomorrow is going to be your high in Columbus, 63 is going to be your high in Ripley, and 65 is going to be your high in Ironton. Now looking at our 7-day Saturday, things are going to heat up quite a bit with that high pressure building in the region. 75 is going to be our high for Saturday, but not to worry on Sunday. Fall is going to return as we see a cold front moving through the region, giving us a little chance for rain on Sunday evening. Then for the beginning of the week, temperatures are going to drop back into the upper 60s for Monday, and then we're going to heat up again on Tuesday, but toward the end of the week, things are going to cool back down. That's all for your 7-day. Over to you, Mackenzie.
All right, thanks, Ananda. Now, when it's raining and kids are stuck inside, many head straight to an iPad or a TV for entertainment. But too much of anything can be harmful, and according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, digital media exposure is no exception. Kim Hutcherson has more in today's Health Minute.
For any parent raising kids, getting them to put down their iPad or tablet is easier said than done. But according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, too much digital media exposure can be harmful and should be limited for kids of all ages. The Academy recently put out these new guidelines. For infants 18 months and younger, no screen time. Cutting out screen time for kids under 2 is not only important for their brain development, it can also create a healthier parent-child relationship. For children 2 to 5 years old, 1 hour per day. The Academy says screen time can be introduced to infants and toddlers, but what they're exposed to is critical. Shows like Sesame Street and PBS programming are suitable for kids at this age. And children 6 years and older, limit digital media. According to the Academy, parents should set the standards on digital media use for their kids and teens, prioritizing schoolwork, physical activity, social contact, and sleep before any screen time. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
All right, thanks, Kim. Now let's send it over to Kellyanne with sports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kellyanne Stitz. The college basketball season is upon us, and the MAC preseason rankings for women's basketball was released today. Find out where the Bobcats rank after the break. And the Chicago Cubs broke the Indians' home game streak in the postseason last night, and even the score in the World Series. All that and more next on Newswatch. And make sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back. I'm Kellyanne Stitz. LeBron James and the champion Cavaliers brought the rings to Game 2 of the World Series last night, but didn't bring good luck for their home team. The Chicago Cubs brushed off a shutout to even the series and dominated the Indians 6-1. The game was moved up an hour to avoid the rainy forecast, which worked, but nothing could stop the storm Jake Arrieta brought with him. Arrieta breezed through 5 innings without allowing a hit. The Indians struggled to get the ball rolling last night, but with an off day, the Indians will be able to regroup, while the Cubs will have to keep their momentum going. Looking ahead to Game 3, the Indians will be hitting the road and heading to Chicago to face the Cubs at their home field. For right now, Josh Tomlin will start for the Indians against Kyle Hendricks. Indians manager Terry Francona also said he has decided to bring back Corey Kluber on short rest for Game 4. The World Series will resume tomorrow at Wrigley Field. First pitch is set for 8 p.m. The World Series may be underway, but women's Ohio soccer just ended their regular season today. Ohio hosted Kent State and took the field for the last time this season. Heading into halftime, the Bobcats and the Golden Flashes were tied 1-1. In the second half, Sydney Leckie scores, giving the Bobcats the lead, but Kent State quickly answers, tying the score 2-2. Game heads into overtime. Ohio lost with 4.5 seconds left in the first overtime, defeating the Bobcats 3-2. From the diamond to the gridiron, the first midweek MAC game of the season kicks off tonight. Ohio football hit the road to take on the Toledo Rockets. The Bobcats will look to utilize their running game and will also look to put the ball in the hands of Poppy White, who can be dangerous with the ball. Defensively, Ohio will look to stop quarterback Logan Woodside, who is 12th in the country in pass yards and first in passing touchdowns. If the Bobcats can clinch the win, they could put themselves in a solid position to win the MAC East Division and head to Detroit for the MAC Championships. Game is set to start at 7:30. Ohio football may be wrapping up its regular season, but basketball is just about to start. The preseason prediction poll for the 2016-17 season for women's basketball was released today. The Bobcats were predicted to finish first in MAC East Division. The Bobcats are defending back-to-back first-place finishes of regular season. Kira Lampkins was also named preseason All-MAC East team. Ohio's first exhibition game is set for November 5th. Tip-off is set for 11:30 a.m. And the Cleveland Cavaliers could have their backup point guard position locked up. Head coach Tyronn Lue expects Iman Shumpert and Kay Felder to play Friday. Felder was placed on the league's concussion protocol after taking an elbow to the head in practice last week, but is now fully cleared. Shumpert left the season home opener against the Knicks with a head injury. Shumpert remains on the concussion protocol, but has made progress and participated in practice today. Coach Lue expects Shumpert to play on Friday. And Week 8 of the NFL starts tonight with Tennessee Titans hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both the Jaguars and Titans are coming off losses, but a win is crucial for the Jaguars, not necessarily for the team. Jacksonville isn't out of the picture in the AFC South, but if they lose again tonight, Coach Gus Bradley could potentially lose his job. The game is set to start at 8:25. I'm Kellyanne Stitz, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Kelly. A penguin at SeaWorld of Orlando is getting a very special Halloween costume this season. Wonder Twin the penguin lost her feathers, so SeaWorld came up with a novel solution. Working with their costuming department, they designed a wetsuit for the flightless seabird. It performs the job usually handled by feathers, keeping her warm, especially in the weather. Now let's go over to Ananda with a final look at weather. Ananda, how cold is it looking out there?
Thanks, Mackenzie. Right now, temperatures are pretty nice. We're sitting right around 60 degrees, but as we go overnight, things are going to get pretty chilly. We're going to hit a low of 39 tonight. That wind is going to die down, though, on the plus side. And then for tomorrow, things are going to heat up to 60 degrees, pretty similar to today. And we're going to see a nice sunny afternoon after those clouds are out of the region tomorrow. For your 7-day, we're going to see things heat up quite a bit for Saturday. It's been hard to tell whether you should wear shorts outside or a jacket, but on Saturday it's going to get up to 75 degrees, only getting down to a low of 56 degrees for the nighttime low. So if you're in Athens for Halloween, it's going to be a good night for that. On Sunday, though, we do see a cold front moving into the region, giving us a slight chance for rain. That is going to drop temperatures down into the upper 60s for Monday. And then on Tuesday, things are going to heat right back up again to 76 degrees before they cool down toward the end of the week. Over to you, Mackenzie.
All right, thanks, Ananda. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than